Good morning, everybody. John here at Havokmaker Studio and FMP Wargamers. I'm hoping you guys are surviving on this extremely chilly Friday morning. I mean, it is cold. When I woke up this morning, it was 42 degrees in my home. I turned the heat off last night and I was woke up. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like about 5 o'clock in the morning. So heat is up. I'm warming up. Got my toesies are nice and warm now. And I just hope you guys are doing well with this crazy weather that's rolling through. Now, I realize there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world right now and in the US. We're not going to talk about that. This is a little bit of escapism for you all. So, as you've seen from the description or the title for this, we're going to be talking about Fallout New Vegas 2 and the Fallout game series. So before you guys get wrapped up in everything and super excited or eye rolling, let's just take a stroll down memory lane. So first off, over at VGC, Video Games Chronicle, Jordan Midler, full credit to them for writing this article. New Fallout New Vegas 2 is reportedly in early talks at Microsoft. And a lot of people probably remember that Fallout Vegas is probably one of the most beloved of the Fallout series. And yes, I realize, and I'm going to show some numbers here in just a moment. Other games might have sold better, but there's some reasoning behind all that, and we're going to get into it. But New Vegas has a huge underground following now. Mods for PC, mods for consoles. It is out of control. It's really absolutely amazing. And to be honest, it's not my favorite series. I certainly enjoyed it. Hands down, I most certainly enjoyed it. I found Fallout 3 to be a lot better, in my opinion, for what I like. And then, of course, I really liked Fallout 4 for all its sins. Now, with that being said, let's hear what I have to say or what Jordan says. So I'm not going to read the full article. Make sure you go over there to VGC and take a look at them. So looks like Jordan is reporting on somebody else reporting on it. Looks like people over at Bethesda / Microsoft / Obsidian Entertainment, they're all chit-chatting about Fallout New Vegas. Now, this wouldn't be something that's going to pop up real soon because there's a lot of time taken in, a lot of time to do the game development. And we know that, I think it's Todd Howard. I could be wrong on that name. I might be getting, no, that's Randy Pitchford over at Gearbox. I believe it's Todd Howard was saying that don't expect this game, Fallout, the next Fallout game or Fallout 5, as some people have called it, to be coming out. It is anytime soon. It's right now it's just a one-page wish list that they've come up with and to start the development. It'll probably be several years down the line. 2025, I think, was the estimated release date. So that's just how long it will take, especially with how much more advanced and large in scope that these games keep getting bigger and bigger. Taking a look at Fallout 76, I think square mileage wise, it is the largest of the entire Fallout series, and not to count mods or anything like that. So it likely will be, if it is going to happen, right now they're just in talks about it. But the good thing is, and why this has not necessarily credibility, but what's good about this is that Obsidian Entertainment, ZeniMax, I think that's what it's called, and Bethesda, they're all under one roof now. So all those teams that have been working on Fallout, the entire Fallout video game series, is all under one roof. So that means we do have a slight possibility. Now let's take a look at some global numbers in regards to the Fallout series real quick. And this will lead in, just bear with me, lead into not only why there's some credibility there, but also how this relates to tabletop gaming. Now, please keep in mind, even though I haven't done any videos in quite some time, or at all, I think, for video games, this is a game entertainment related YouTube channel. So in the future, oops, sorry about that, I will be doing video game reviews, movie reviews, everything that's related to really the tabletop. So let's take a look at some global numbers. Now, this is as of March of 2020, so it's a bit outdated. I couldn't find a 2022 information, so sorry about that. These numbers might have skewed a little bit. So right now, worldwide sale in millions. Fallout 4 came out in 2015, is top dog. Fallout 3, see, can I pick them or what? Is number 2. Fallout New Vegas, which came out in 2010, right, is sitting at 7, or is third, and then Fallout 76. And then unfortunately, it's hard to really rate a lot of those earlier Fallout games, especially the Fallout Tactics, the Fallout 1 and 2, because they were largely inaccessible to consoles. So it's hard to really take that into account, but we're still going to put it in there for number wise. Now, I realize a lot of these Fallout series, mainly 76 and Fallout 4, get a lot of flack, and really, in some cases, they deserve it. But I think saving grace for Fallout 4 and why that number is so high is because of the modability. They opened up the workshop to where you can sit there and mod and create your own universe. And one of the best-selling mods out there is the Fallout 4 Fallout New Vegas mods. So if you want to play Fallout New Vegas, but with the new engine and everything, and get it all updated and looking fancy pants, Fallout 4 is the way to go. Now, that could or could not be the reason why that the sales for Fallout 4 are up there. It's hard to tell, especially since this is coming up on 2 years old. But Fallout 4 is most certainly the most flexible in regards to not only simply reskinning, but building entire whole new worlds. There's some fantastic mods out there, even on top of their own DLC content that are, I can't think of a single one of the Fallout 4 DLCs that I did not like. I think I enjoyed every single one of them, though I believe the Nuka-Cola Land was frustratingly difficult for me. Don't know about you. Anyways, so we can see where Fallout New Vegas kind of sits in there, definitely above Fallout 76. And I'll be honest with you, I have, how do I put this gently, pooped on, not literally, Fallout 76 since it came out. I've watched enough videos, did a, not a sample play, a free-to-play window, and that they PlayStation had, and of course read all the reviews, watched all the videos, and I was just really disappointed. And I know so many fans are disappointed, not only in the Fallout 76 series, the content, but also the execution of the game series. And we're not here really to talk about that, but what I can at least report on is from when I first dove into it and then dropped it to about 2 months ago. It is, I would say, essentially it's a completely different game. Right now, what it's at is where it should have been on release, minus extra content and everything like that. But the biggest thing I had a problem with was the player versus player. I'm not playing Fallout games for player versus player. If I want that, I'll go play Fortnite or any other battle royale game. I didn't want that. So we're getting there. Let's get into some, just kind of show you guys some of the other numbers. Even though it wasn't the top selling, it has the highest Metacritic score. And yeah, Metacritic, sometimes you get bots on there, but that's usually for a lot of games that are blasting wokeism and over diversity, or the check marks in so for woke whatever. Now these older games are usually left untouched. So right now it's sitting at an 84 with an 8.8, 5,000 user score. Usually that's a lot better. I liked that over the Metascore because you're getting critics reviews versus actual player reviews. So 8.8, not too bad. Now the biggest selling one, Fallout 4, is sitting at same Metascore, but there's a different user score, and that's at almost double the amount of ratings at 5.6. That's pretty abysmal. Now we take a look at Fallout 76, probably the worst in the series. Once again, I am enjoying the game. I don't have to pal up with people, but if there's people in the area and there's a area event, I'll definitely participate because I like fighting alongside other people. I just don't want to play PUBG or Fortnite or Apex or whatever like that. If I wanted those type of games, I'll go do it. I want my Fallout games where I get to explore, see all the wackiness, and fight monsters and raiders and all that kind of stuff. And I get that now. So good job. Finally, thank you, Bethesda. Anyways, their user score is 2.8 at almost the same amount that New Vegas was. And the critic score is lower with about the same amount of critics. Not too good. So what does all this have to do with tabletop? We're getting there. But I just want to show that there's this kind of building up. It's a lot of loose credibility, but like I said, Fallout New Vegas, widely popular. It's very hard to find somebody that did not like that game. Seriously. So we're getting there. Fallout series from Amazon's coming out. They've got their showrunners and Jonathan Nolan. You might know Jonathan Nolan. Let's see, guy that wrote Interstellar, The Dark Knight Rises, Memento, and the Westworld series over on HBO Max. So he's going to be doing the first episode, and I think the showrunner is somebody that wrote the Tomb Raider, the newer 2018 Tomb Raider, which a lot of people actually enjoyed. Captain Marvel, for all its woes, it was still $1 billion movie. And of course, Silicon Valley, Portlandia, and The Office. If you didn't like The Office, then you're one of the rare few, I would imagine. So this is coming out, I would say, within probably the next year. And I'm hoping, cross my fingers, that they are looking at how Amazon's Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, is getting blasted for its major deviation from the lore. And they won't screw this up. Now, I imagine Bethesda, Microsoft, and Amazon are all working very closely hand in hand with this, especially when it comes to a game IP that has durability and longevity after the series. They can easily make up for stuff after, if they got a bad game, they just fix it with a patch or put out a DLC to fix it up. Looking at you, 76. So this is good. Potentially good. So now we're kind of building up that foundation that the New Vegas might be coming out on the heels of, or maybe even prelude to, the Fallout series. Yay. So we know that Bethesda has teamed up with, now here we are with the tabletop gaming. Bethesda has worked hand in hand with Modiphius, a UK publisher and game designer, for not only the Fallout Wasteland Warfare tabletop miniature game, which also has a companion RPG. That RPG is kind of just play the tabletop game. It's a little wonky. If you like it, stick with it. But they since have come out with a 2D20 version. Now, I was one of the beta testers on this game. Really enjoyed it. My group enjoyed it. We've since played one game. We've got some new characters for a brand new series that we're going to be working on, and it's really probably one of their best products that they have put out under the 2D20 game mechanic system. So really excited about this. Plus, when we look at, there's some companion pieces. Let me get to my other screen here. I'd like to show off to you guys. This game, I would say, between the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game, which is the miniatures game, which has a huge array of miniatures of not only named characters from Fallout New Vegas, Fallout. I think there's some Fallout 3 and of course Fallout 4. And we're about ready to go into, I believe it is Wave 6 right now of the models that they're coming out this year. And they were already starting to talk about Wave 7. Is that going to be Fallout 76 or is that going to be something entirely different? So Fallout New Vegas miniatures are available through Modifius for their Wasteland Warfare game, the tabletop miniature game, which I'm going to be doing I'm going to do another attempt at playing it, and we're going to do a review on that later. I got a review for the 2D20 coming out. So those are all coming down the line. So with this major shift, I would say, across multiple mediums or media, from video games to TV series to even comics. There's a comic out there, and the miniature game, and of course the role playing game, the tabletop role playing game. I think there's some. Well, we know that there's going to be another Fallout game coming. They've already said it. It's just years down the line. I think there's a solid credibility that we're going to see Fallout New Vegas 2 in regards to a video game. Now, will that be the TV series? I don't know. I doubt it, because we have no idea what era they're going to pick. And I doubt they're going to pick an actual, well, we're just doing a TV series based on Fallout 4. The Fallout series likes to do the kind of what the Final Fantasy series does, where they just jump all over the place, different worlds, different times, everything like that. And really the only thing connected or like is the name. It just gets reskinned. So, but the Fallout series, they jump from different parts in the US, barely mentioning the rest of the world, and also different time periods, though they largely are now, right now, I think the timeline we're looking at 2277, I believe, is the current, 78 is the current date, though Fallout 76 takes place like 200 years prior, over 200 years prior. So it's, even though that's the latest game, it's kind of like not a prequel game, it's kind of the early days of the Fallout series, if that makes any sense. Fallout 4 is the current timeline. So they can jump around whatever they want. And we've already proven, or they've already demonstrated, that the Fallout series is a alternate reality or an alternate reality version of our Earth. It diverges 100 plus years ago, where nuclear energy, we had the nuclear strikes and nuclear warfare. And yes, now that I'm talking about this, you can kind of see that threat that's going on with China. China is the big bad in the Fallout series that helped kickstart the war. And of course, the US doesn't help at all. So there is a little bit of weird connection in that realm. But we're not here to talk about real world stuff. We're talking about Fallout. So at the end of last year, beginning of this year, Modifius put out a host of their next wave of models. That's what I wanted to get to. Now, these miniatures can be used not only for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game, but it also can be used for the RPG. And I've talked with people who considered using it for just for local play, mind you, but using the miniatures for their Warhammer 40,000 kill teams, or even an army of like Protectrons and Sentry bots and stuff. And I mean, financially, it would be worse to do that than just buying a Games Workshop army, because you don't get as many models, even though it's a little cheaper. You're not getting as many models. We're not going to talk about the logistics. Let's take a look at the miniatures, because they're really awesome. So if you've played the game, especially Fallout 4, there's next wave of miniatures really kind of centers around Fallout 4. We have the gunners. We have their core box. That's the first box that's going to be coming out. No named characters in there, but it does have a variety of poses and such. And inside these boxes now are including multiple head and weapon arms. So you're not just stuck with like some of the previous waves. You're not just stuck with whatever their current weapon systems are. So going down the line, now we're going to get into some named characters. If you played Fallout 4, you know Tessa and Clint. Those are the two in the power armor. And then we got two grunts on the side. one who has a fat man who can have that fat man swapped out for another gun, by the way. So you're not stuck with that. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that one of those two power armors can swap out. And they're rocking that, the various forms of T45 based on how they appear in the game. So you can use them as those characters, or as I strongly imagine that you can use them as just generic characters in your Gunners faction. So really cool. I like them. The good poses, the models, the quality have gotten significantly better since the release. We also have the Railroad, which never been a big fan of the Railroad, but they definitely have some cool models. Now this core box on flip side has a variety of models that are well, actually all those models are the names, most of the named characters from Fallout 4, but you're not just stuck with them. Now they could just be generic characters once again. Now we do have the Railroad Operatives, which is really cool because I really like the Railroad, the Operatives, especially their heavies. I love the heavy armor in Fallout 4, and I wish I could run around with it more often, but it wasn't the best armor. And unless I get some sort of mod that lets me wear whatever or reskin my armor to look like that, which is just too much of a hassle. But I really dug their armor, and I'm usually a big fan of the armor that the goodness, why can't I think of it, the Brotherhood of Steel have. But when this came out, I was like, oh my god, I want that armor. It's awesome. So you get Glory and Deacon, the 2-carat Glories with the big minigun. Deacon, everybody's favorite in Fallout 4 for some reason. He gets multiple head options, and there's multiple arm options for these characters as well. So really cool that they're starting to get a little bit more flexibility in their game. Instead of just going, hey, you're stuck with this static pose character with this weapon that you really probably would never use. I like the customization, at least the delving into it. It's quite not the level that Games Workshop is able to do, but far greater than what, say, Privateer Press does. So moving on, we're just going to get through these. I'm not going to go through the entire series because I want to save the rest for a actual Fallout Wasteland Warfare review. So, Children of Adam, the Children of Adam Zealot Congregation. I hate the Children of Adam in the game. Oh, they drive me up a wall because of stupid gamma guns. But they're definitely an option you can take in the game. And even though I hate them, I'm going to talk about them. I think they look, gosh darn, pretty cool. I like how they did the paint job with the glowing gamma gun stuff. I can already feel myself getting irradiated and irritated when I'm getting hit by those stupid guns. But overall, I think the sculpts are actually pretty good. And then the last one I want to show, and we still have plenty more to show off, but we're going to save that for another video and talk about these. This is Swan, the super mutant behemoth-ish that is a former Institute test subject that... he's one of the few named super mutants in Fallout 4. You have to find his location, and you have to, in-game time-wise, you have to be at that location from, I want to say it's like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. And when you're there, that's when he will appear. And then you can fight him, and he's got some fairly good drops. Really, I think it's just really cool to go find all these named people, and if you're able to interact, great. If you have to fight them, just as much fun. So at any rate, a lot of cool stuff coming down the line for the Fallout universe. We got a TV series, we got a new wave of miniatures. There's already talk about some new releases for the 2D20 system that are in development that we're going to be covering at a later time. And of course, the possibility of Fallout New Vegas 2 dropping. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you a fan of the Fallout series? Do you just not care? Are you do you play any of these games, whether it's the tabletop games or the video games? What do you think about the series? Just let me know what you guys think about all this. I'll talk to you all later, and have a wonderful day.